Welcome to Subramani. Warren Buffett calls it the internal scorecard and the external scorecard, right? How well you're doing in life, you can compare yourself to your own internally set goals or to some externally set goals. For example, if you're cooking and you compare yourself to how fast you can cut vegetables, come vis-a-vis, say, a Sanjeev Kapoor. Or if you're playing cricket, you compare yourself to a Virat Kohli or a Sachin Tendulkar, depending on whom you want to compare yourself to. You're bound to feel miserable simply because you know that you are doing it as a hobby. They are doing it as a profession, so obviously they would be much better than you, but you don't actually go and compare yourself to them. Have you ever thought that okay, now I'm playing cricket on a Saturday, I should bat as well as Virat Kohli? You don't think of it that way at all. Maybe you're playing with a good bat but a tennis ball or a rubber ball and you're not using your pads, obviously. Now then you don't even think that you should play as well as a Virat Kohli. Now similarly, in cutting vegetables, you cook in about 1.5 hours for 3 people, and that you don't consider to be too good or too bad because you don't compare yourself to Sanjeev Kapoor, who says, oh, this whole thing can be done in 7 minutes, it can be done in 12 minutes or whatever, right? Some criteria which they use for the knife they use, the vegetable cutting board they use, everything is very different from what you're using, and their skill sets are different, and so you don't compare yourself to them because for you, in your head, those are not your benchmark. So there's no FOMO when Virat Kohli scores 100. It's been a long time that he hasn't, but say Rohit Sharma scores 100 and you don't compare yourself, say, oh my god, last Saturday I could have done this, right? You don't even fool yourself into believing you are in that range of talent. You don't think that this is what you should be doing. You just think that you are in a hobby of playing cricket. Rohit Sharma or a Virat Kohli or any Rishabh Pant are in a profession of playing cricket. You don't compare the two. Similarly, Sanjeev Kapoor is in the profession of showing his culinary skills. He has to do that. He has to appear on programs. He has to be there so that his books can sell, so that his program can sell. He is in a different league. You are in a different league. When you accept that in your other hobbies, why can't you accept that in your investments? And for you, what should be the criteria? Should it be an external criteria? For example, you are just starting out in life. You're a 23-year-old or a 22-year-old. You don't know which mutual fund to select, what to do, etc. And you start investing in one mutual fund which you picked up at random, which is a mid-cap fund from a new fund house, and you're happy doing that, and you find that it is doing well. You also think that you should pick up your own stocks. So you pick up 2-3 shares and you start investing in them also, and end of the year somebody tells you, oh, you should compare yourself to a benchmark. What is your benchmark? My benchmark is some ICICI fund or some PGIM fund or some Mirai fund. You pick up one of those and say, oh my god, I have not done so well. Should you then, what should you do? Should you abandon your stock picking? Should you just say, okay, let me go and put money in a mutual fund? Well, that's what you will do if that is your external benchmark, and you say, oh, I have to perform as well as a Naren or a Prashant or a Tahir Badshah or anybody like that. I have to perform like them, right? So that is what you start looking at. Is it possible? I don't know, but one thing is possible, that when you have external scorecard, there will always be FOMO of saying, oh my god, I could have done this, I have not done this, I have not achieved this. Whereas if it's an internal scorecard saying, my parents always kept their money in bank fixed deposits where they were earning 5, 6, 7%, whatever. I have shifted to equities and I'm earning 10, 11, 12%. What is so bad about it? So when you shift the benchmark, it is always good. There have been stories of how people have been living in foxholes, living in a real difficult situation during war, and the only thing they're looking forward to, absolutely nothing, and only thing they're looking forward to is going back home to a clean house. right? Being able to find a clean loo, being able to find clean sheets, being able to sleep in a clean environment, not riches, not even the safety of okay, I've reached home, right? So actually it is very difficult to believe, but an army person was telling me, she's been there in the, her husband was in the army long back. During the 65 war he fought, and so she would say in the place where they lived, if they heard that their husband or wife or brother or somebody was injured, son was injured, there would be a celebration saying, oh, now he's injured, it's very good, it means he'll come back, he'll not go back to the war, which means his life is safe. Maybe he's broken a leg, maybe he's broken an arm, maybe it's temporary 6 months, or maybe he will live with only one leg, but at least it means he'll not go to the front and die. So see how benchmark changes for people. You just want to be alive, right? You just you've been caught by a by a terrorist and they're asking for ransom. The ransom is not being paid, the government is negotiating. The only thing that you're asking for is, will I be alive? Will I be able to go home? Will I see my family, right? So the benchmark keeps changing. So it is not right to have an external benchmark, but it is not wrong either, because if you're going to compare fund performance, you have to have some external benchmark. But should you make yourself miserable over the benchmark? Well, it depends on what stage of life you are. I have no clue how some of my funds have performed. I've invested in them since 1999, 2000. It could be a HDFC Top 200, which changed its name to HDFC 100. iPro Discovery. I invested in iPro Discovery the day I think Naren took it over. And when Naren joined, must have been 2002, 2003, I'm not very sure. So 18, 19 years, I've not even seen the NAV. I just know it's a good fund with a good fund manager. I have not bothered with external benchmarks, and I have made sure that anybody who listens to me, I've said external benchmarks don't matter. You should be worried about how much money you're investing, how well you're investing, how long you stay invested, how it does not matter when the market falls for a short period of time and then recovers, right? So all this is important. So you can always pick up my portfolio and say in 2002, if you had sold Colgate, if you had bought Wipro and you had sold Wipro in 2008 and bought Colgate, you would have got double the amount of Colgate. Perfectly correct argument, and that was a time when capital gains were tax-free. I could have really done this, but the question is, look at it practically. Would it have been possible for me to do it? Answer is no, because if I had done that, I would have also monkeyed around with other parts of my portfolio. I would have picked up HDFC Limited and said, if I sell HDFC Limited today and buy GTB or Yes Bank at 180, I'm sure this share will double over a shorter period of time. So I can then sell Yes Bank at 360 and buy back HDFC, which is a dull and boring company. Because it is easy to say, I would have done that in Colgate and Wipro, but wouldn't have done that in HDFC Limited and GTB. This is what I was talking to a fund manager, and he said that the same behavior you would have copied and it would have been very expensive, right? So my behavior of not bothering about external benchmarks helped me in many cases, and in some cases it may have even hurt me because I may not have shuffled my portfolio enough. But the question to ask is the amount of money that I've accumulated enough for my retirement? Will I be able to meet all my goals? If the answer to that is yes, then there is no FOMO of saying I could have done this, I could have done that, right? So many of those huge wealth creators, the question is, could you have sat through the whole journey? Could I have bought shares in HDFC in 1980 and held on to my total portfolio? Answer is no, I could not have done. I did not do it with 1977 investment of Reliance Industries. I bought, sold, I still have some Reliance Industries, not so significant, but I did that with Colgate, P&G, Nestle, Cummins, Siemens, etc., where I said, oh, I don't have to worry about governance. Now, I did not know whether I had to worry about governance in 1977 about Reliance and in 1980 about HDFC. I had no clue. I did not have clue that just holding on to all my HDFC Bank, HDFC AMC shares, just fill it and hold on for a long period of time, I would have made money. I have traded in HDFC Limited, I've traded in HDFC Bank, I sold off HDFC AMC, I sold off HDFC Life Insurance. I have very little, I don't think I have more than 200 shares of HDFC Life left. right? So I have never, and my average sale price would be much ahead of today's price. Same thing for HDFC AMC. I sold it a very good price. When I look at it, I'm wondering why did I sell it off, because that's not my style. HDFC Bank I held on for a much longer period, but I did sell it. But again, no external criteria, no external benchmark, nothing to say I should have done this or I shouldn't have done that. Yes, these are, in retrospect, they've turned out to be good, but the fact that I did not sell my investments in the mutual funds made it easier for me to hold on to mutual funds. Another funny thing is, I can buy more and more of the same fund every month, but I rarely keep buying equity. For example, if I bought, say, Hindustan Aeronautics at 700, 800, maybe even at 1200, after that at 1500 I am unable to add. But if the same share share was in my fund portfolio, in say iPro Discovery, I would have kept on putting money in iPro Discovery, making the fund manager buy. So I am you see this bundle of contradiction. So therefore, when you have internal benchmarks, you use your internal benchmarks, you see how you behave, you see what works for you, rather than worry about what why am I worried about a 1 year return of the index? To me, it does not matter at all. To me, it does not matter that Sanjeev Kapoor can cut vegetables faster than me, or Virat Kohli can hit a cover drive far superior to me. It does not matter. I am an amateur. I'm an amateur investor, I'm an amateur cook, and I'm an amateur cricketer, right? So why should it bother? Why should I have to worry about external benchmarks as long as I can meet my goals? This is how people should look at their investment. Are you investing enough in yourself? Are you investing in relationships? Are you investing in skills? Are you investing in looking for good jobs? Those should be very important investments for you, right? Incidentally, you are also making money. So if you can meet all your goals, your children's education, your career plans, your travel plans, your vacations, and you have enough money for retirement, how the hell does it matter which fund manager is performing? All those people are performing well. Maybe some are performing well in this period, some are not performing well in another period, but that's their problem. Let them worry about benchmarks. You create your own internal benchmarks and make sure that you meet them. That's far more important for you and me, not for the fund manager. Fund manager has to compete. Let him. That's his problem, not ours. Thank you.